Who's around right now, baby, right now? Do an improv, baby, right now, now, now. Who's around right now, baby, right now? Do an improv, baby, right now, 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 now.
Hi, Bowler and Pepper, and everybody who's around.
Hi, LG. What a gorgeous, gorgeous Pride Pig t-shirt that
Why,
is.
thank you. I was just feeling it today. It's kind of like, I wonder if anybody else got up and wore one just like it today. I don't know.
We can only hope. We can only hope life will be so synchronistic.
Yeah.
It's definitely both of those words. Welcome everybody to our Pride show.
Yay!
Hello, beautiful Chloe. Here we are. We're doing our Pride show. Just out of nowhere. But you know what I love about our show, about who's around? Both it's dependent on us being around and a guest being around and our audience being around. We all just gotta be around.
Yeah.
Cooper does have a teeny
We're just
tiny
all
chair.
sort of around. Oh,
She sure does.
She has a teeny tiny improv chair. Pig, pig, pig!
Teeny tiny improv chair for a number of years. Recently, the most adorable and hilarious thing that she does with this chair is that she'll put it on the ground and then proceed to try to sit in it. And
I got to see this the other day. It was...
It's amazing. It's amazing. And I'm trying to capture it on video because it is the most hilarious thing, because she just she'll position that little chair and then she'll just try to aim her little butt to get to that chair.
I mean, she's got a diaper, so it doesn't hurt as much as it might when I saw, for example, your husband try it.
Right.
To be funny, to be comical, but still.
Yeah. So I'm proud of that. Speaking of three things to be proud of.
What was that word you just said?
Proud?
Oh, I love that word.
What did that skateboard roll in?
What?
I demand to know. What did that skateboard roll in? What is that skateboard rolling in? What's the skateboard in?
It's I think it's cum, but it was in the Forever, there's no Pride pack, so everything is it's in the Freedom USA, which I don't know why it's in that one.
Well, in all fairness, we did steal this rainbow from God. Yeah.
It's part of the covenant. It will never, the earth shall never be covered in it is raining really hard today, so I don't want to tempt a
flood. Yeah, we gotta be careful. We don't want to give our internet to give out. But anyways, in honor of our Pride show, we have a very special guest here for this show today. Audience, please put your keyboards together. I don't know how applause works on this show. Find that little clap emoji for Roy Drew is here. Yay!
Roy!
Hello! I've got my Pride lights on.
Oh, I love your lights. Roy, what do I see out on the top of your
I think
Yay!
I think we were at the same Pride Fest.
Fitting on air.
There we go.
Love it.
This is great.
Thank you for coming here, Roy. Nice to see you again. You may remember Roy from our substitute episode.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was your most recent one. That was great. Yeah. So Roy, thank you for joining us today on our Pride show.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm very pleased with Pig and the inclusivity that I've always felt here. And it's because it's a concern when you first join an organization. You don't know what they're up to, if you're going to feel welcome, and always in that regard. So always great. And for nobody is ever, everybody's very great equality that way, and age-wise and all this stuff. It's such a welcoming place. So
We could be a little bit more diverse in
we're definitely.
we're very white. How do I, we're just so
We
white.
are extremely white.
But yeah, I love same thing, Roy. I like being on teams with people where there are all different ages and all different, because that's something that I think gets overlooked a lot is age diversity. I think,
Yeah, but never been an issue at all. Except, in my mind, when I started, I thought, oh my God, but that went away pretty quickly. And so I find myself sometimes looking around and, I'll look in the mirror afterwards and go, oh, but then I forget about it. So anyway.
Everybody's got imposter syndrome, no matter how much improv you
Imposter
do.
syndrome, absolutely.
Yeah,
not me.
Right. So, that reminds me of today in therapy, I actually learned a new term called a grand therapist, which is your therapist. So it's your grand therapist.
Oh my goodness.
I love
And who's their therapist?
I love that. My therapist taught me that term today. And so I learned from my grand therapist today. So through my therapist, my therapist passes down about imposter syndrome. That imposter syndrome is something that we evolved with because it does serve us well in regards to safety. Like if we were jumping off a cliff, it behooves us to have a little imposter syndrome to be like, can I really do this? Is this the same cliff that I did this before? Like, should I be doing this? Is the water deep enough? Has there been droughts recently? Like that, like flood of doubt is actually very useful when it comes to safety. So it evolved with us. But now it's on us to sort of like, try to regulate it. Like, is it, can it just take up the space of just one voice as opposed to a cacophony of voices that happen in our head? And can we just sort of say oh yeah, thanks for giving me the heads up on that. This is a scary thing that I should take seriously and use some caution and check around first, because it's not about not jumping off the cliff. It's about making sure that water is deep enough. Like maybe throw a rock first. See, you know what I mean? Or what? I don't know. I don't know the proper technique. Actually, I remember I watched a Bear Grylls and he went over it, but I don't remember. Well, I don't want to give that advice on you. I'm not. Do your own research, people, how to make sure if a cliff is safe to dive off. But it's not necessarily it's bad. You could be like, oh yeah, you know what? Hey, good job, brain, giving me a second to be like, let me pause.
I mean, that makes total sense. That makes total sense. If you think of imposter syndrome as like an offshoot of anxiety, anxiety is helpful sometimes to be like,
right.
maybe there is danger if I touch the stove, or
Yeah. Right. Yeah, right. Like getting that little don't put your bare hand on the stove before you check to see if the lights are on. Yeah.
I got you said Bear Grylls and then bare hand, and I was back to drinking piss. That's the only Bear Grylls I've ever seen. Is like,
I understand.
Do they boil it or what?
I don't think he. Oh well, maybe he did. No, the clip. No, I've definitely seen Bear Grylls, a human man, pick up what I think was an elephant dung pile, some sort of animal that can survive in really, really dry, dehydrated areas. And then he just picked that thing up and squeezed it and drank it. And he had a film crew right there. So he didn't have to. He could have just pointed at it and said, you can do that in an emergency, but he chose not to.
Gotta make a living somehow, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't seen right out of his own penis, but I have seen him drink it out of like he peed into a thing. He was just like, this isn't like, but he also mentions that you should not, like, this is actually not a great way to rehydrate yourself, because sometimes your pee is actually like it's already filled with toxins. It can be dehydrated. So it can actually be more dehydrated.
Salt in it. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
So you do have to be really careful. It would only be the pee that you peed if you overdrank water, if you overdrank water, you're probably not thinking about
and what I learned from
No.
the George Lucas talk show on Planet Scum, rest in peace.
Planet Scum? Is that
Planet
a network?
Scum. Oh, it just ended, but for a couple years it was my one of my internet homes, and I loved it. Did not realize Dasani water, one of the ingredients on there, sodium. That water actually makes you thirstier. There's capitalism, baby.
It's like serving peanuts at a bar, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Drink more peanuts.
Drink more.
Oh, do you think people will ever go back to communal nut bowls again after this pandemic?
Not if you keep calling them that.
That's a different sort of thing. Anyway.
Yeah. Speaking of, but I also want to get back to not just where in the pasta syndrome thing.
Right.
So Roy, can I ask you a question? What does pride mean to you now versus what it meant to you? You know, when it sort of you know, years ago. You've been around for pride for a long time. You've experienced a lot of pride.
Yeah.
So what it's like for you now then?
Well, you know, when I was I didn't realize I was gay until I was 19. I mean, actually come up with the word, though now I think back, I do remember as a joke trying to kiss boys like in the second grade. Ha ha ha, what a funny joke, you know, and that of course set me up for you know, lots of ridicule for a while. But then being okay with it, it took me a long time to actually come out to anybody. I did it in very big stages. I didn't really even start talking to my family about it until I was, you know, 40 or something. But, you know, of course they knew, you know, I had one kind of girlfriend that didn't, you know, then I had all these guys that would, you know, call me all the time and stuff like that. And then I'd go out and nobody would. So, you know, self-acceptance, you know, and so back then, getting to different stages, I did a lot of theater. So of course I felt comfortable telling those people. And then one day my elderly aunt, you know, said, "Oh yeah," and I mentioned something about myself, and she says, "Oh well, all homosexuals do that." Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, you know, oh, so you know, you know, stunner, you know." And then, but in recent years, I tell everybody, and so being proud back then was I just trying to accept myself and trying to accept myself a little bit more all the time. And then I did go to pride parades, but you know, only my gay friends and I knew that. And then now I go to the bank and I tell people my partner, you know, I knew my family knew I got invited to my nephew's wedding, and, you know, Roy, Drew, and Kevin, you know, because I was with my partner, Kevin. And so now for me, pride is to be loud and proud and an advocate for younger people, because there's so many suicides dealing with people, you know, and so if I can be that person who, or one of the people that is an ally, you know, for other gay people, other gay, trans, bi, you know, the whole alphabet. I feel bad today. I don't have anything with the trans colors. So.
We were just talking before the show, Roy, about redesigning the pig shirt with the Philly Pride logo, and how to, I don't know, that would be pretty cool.
But the Philly Pride, I don't know.
Yeah, I think the Philly Pride. I don't know if everyone's familiar with the Philly Pride logo. Do you have an image of that, LG, by any chance?
The one with the triangle?
It's got oh man, I just cleared a bunch of stuff out. I think I might have no, I don't have it, but it's got sort of the 3 chevrons, like triangles that face the side.
Mm-hmm.
And so that you get some extra, there's 3 or 4, there's black, brown, and What?
So it would be like,
Transpose and
so
then
it would be
we-
like here on one of the sides, it's like an extra triangle with some other colors. As I'm doing it, it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it
I've
pink?
seen that before. I didn't realize that was a sports team logo. I thought that was just like the updated pride
Oh
flag.
no! Oh, it's from the city of Philadelphia. Oh my God! Fuck the Phillies.
So that's a city, but the city of Philadelphia invented that logo.
There's a person in the Philadelphia, and I follow them on Insta, but I can't remember what their name is. But a person in Philly, but it has been adopted as the Philly pride flag. And my poor little Boston heart is like, no, it's not the Phillies. It's the city of Philadelphia.
I see.
It's beautiful. There's the sports teams that are atrocious. I'm looking up the flag right now. It's been updated too with the other parts.
Yeah, okay.
I
I
just want to hear a screenshot. You ready?
What'd you say? Here's
Just
the
making my own
screenshot.
sound effects over here.
No, it's okay. Yeah, no, I've been missing a lot hearing wise recently. Anyways, and I also want to chime in here. There it is. Okay, cool.
There it is. Yeah,
I have
There it
absolutely.
is.
All right.
that's great.
So someone from Philadelphia invented that updated flag. Philadelphia, the city, adopted it as its pride logo, and I've now seen it spread everywhere on the internet. I think a lot of places now use it. Okay, I understand what's happening right now, but also imagine the Phillies fanatic on the flag. But yes, I do imagine that, and I think it would be great. Yeah.
I've heard
fanatic.
some fan fiction that might, have enacted that very scenario. I'll message you after the show, Chloe.
That sounds wonderful. Roy, thank you so much for sharing that. That was the I don't know. The words "beautiful" and "insightful" come up to my mind. I'd like to hear that just to understand that, because I like even just the time from when I was a teenager to now. There's just been such a big difference in the culture, and of course, it's been rapidly changing. Like, I hope my kids don't really even understand what the heck I'm talking about by the time they're adults. You know what I mean? Like, I hope that they're like, what's your problem? Why are you, and that would be really, really great. But it's like, it's getting there fast, but it's also, like you said, there's, like you touched on, like, the suicide rates are still really high. It's still unsafe in a lot of families out there, which is really terrible. A lot of homes,
in blue states.
Yeah, I mean, I was blessed. I never had that, or lucky. I never felt suicidal for being gay. Probably from a little bit from depression, but I never felt like I would be. Here's another thing. Like I realized I was gay in 1982, and then just as I started to meet people. One of my friends says, "Oh, there's this thing, which was AIDS."
Yeah.
And I was like, and I'm a hypochondriac. Didn't see to be a hypochondriac, and so I used that. So it terrified me, and that terror probably saved my life. But then I decided that not to tell my father. It was my sort of deluded excuse not to tell my father. My mother had died a while ago before that. And because I thought that I didn't want him to worry about me, but it probably would have been better to tell. I know later on he became good friends with Kevin, even though we never talked about it. But Roy's friend is coming over to help me put up a wall on my garage. So, that's sort of so. So the AIDS thing. It's like the second, it makes you really kind of like, I didn't feel like I could explore myself as much as I had to because of all this care. But had I done it a couple of years earlier, I might have died, so, I mean, if I had started my, explorations, a couple of years earlier, I probably might have died. So I'm lucky. Feel very blessed. Very lucky.
I think anything that you want to say that you are, I would agree. I feel lucky
Well,
and
I'm not
blessed that
super
you're here.
religious, but that's a good word, you know. Fortunate.
Yeah. I feel lucky and blessed that you are here, Roy. A whole
Yeah.
And I'm
generation of people was wiped out, and
yeah.
people sort of forget that. And why don't we see older queers? And it's like, well, we
Yeah.
do, but they're not.
Yeah.
You know. So thank you, Roy.
And I also, you two, you know, because gay people very often live, thank you, and I live in a bubble, and you know, I remember thinking about bisexual people that, oh, you know, it's like that horrible joke on Friends that they're just kidding themselves. You know, that was a horrible. And you know, by knowing you guys, like, and knowing about non-binary and trans and all, and I've learned so much just from coming to Pig. I had a very narrow focus. Gay people are like this, and so I've learned a lot. You know, from 54 on to so anyway, so that's another very positive
Me
thing.
too, honestly, Roy.
Yeah.
I was like,
Hell yeah.
yeah, I think it's like we're all pretty narrow until we hit something that challenges that. And you know, some people double down on that narrowness and they maintain it, but some people are open to learning. So because I know I felt the same way about my own bisexuality. I was like, pick a side, Melissa. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're just like you're internally screaming, like, pick a lane. And then also even just doubting because of my own internalized homophobia, being like, well, I couldn't possibly be gay of any kind because that's not what you do. That makes life harder. Why would I want to do that? Like, you know, and then also understanding, finally being like, okay, I am, but then be like, well, I can't tell anybody because that's going to be like, will make life harder. So I keep this really secret too. And because it does.
I know, such secrets. See, oh my God.
That's the thing, is that it's easier to go through life as cis hetero, like white, like all the things, all the boxes you can check. Like the closer you can get to the Barbie and Ken imagery, the better you are. Original Barbie and Ken. I know Barbie is branching out.
Laverne Cox just got a Barbie. I never played with them very much, but I would totally get one if
on principle.
That's
you know, one of the things that
the Barbie body image stuff is still like upsetting. But yeah, and it's like the closer you are to that, it's easier it is to pass through life. And so the more I reveal about my true self, the harder my life has come to, like, because it does create barriers. And that's part of it, of like turning in some of your privilege to live your truth is a part of it. And it's scary and it's hard. And it's but it's also like acknowledging that, I think, is like really smart, because I hear what you're saying, Roy, and I feel the same exact way about me. And I'm feeling like I feel so grateful for every single person that's able to challenge and understand that. I was definitely one of the person. I used to be like, how can you say they, them for a single person? Like, I used to think that, and I've said that out loud, being like,
oh yeah,
how could that?
That's something.
I flash back to college and think of the awful
things.
The
pronouns,
people.
I agree with them. I respect them. Whatever the word is, I respect them. I try like hell to use them. I fuck that up all the time. But then I say, okay, let me know if I, I'm talking about, they use they, them pronouns, and I know that she's done, I'll do that, or he's done. One more thing I was thinking about. I'm sorry, I'm getting very long-winded.
No, let it go.
I remember when I realized that I was gay, I remembered all the people who bullied me when I was younger for being gay. And it sort of pissed me off that they were right, And I'm like, how can, that really, I remember that. It pissed me off. People would call me, fairy, sissy, faggot, all that stuff. And and then when I got that age, that was something I had to reconcile with, that these assholes who were horrible to me were right. But then again, that connotation, it's not bad. It's not bad to be gay. It's not bad to be bi. It's not bad to be trans or non-binary, all of the above. But but at that point, it was bad when I was little. This is something you don't want to be. And now I love the fact that it's accepted by many, even though the goddamn Republicans are doing their best to make our lives harder. But
The Democrats too. And
sometimes, very much.
yeah,
But sometimes,
yeah,
very much.
I'm a big fan of pointing that out as much as I can these days.
I
But
agree.
Well, that's the thing, is that it is still, I think, where you're like it, and it is in some ways, it is still bad. And I know it's not bad, but I
I
think
know,
culturally
but
it's treated as still an
oh
other,
yeah,
at the very least, and like, so even some folks who are, uh, fine with it, right? Like it still can be treated as an other, even with kindness. And um, I think it is changing, and I do see in the young communities and in the internet, like in the sanctity of the internet, like you do see that stuff changing. But then also you see the other side. Like I will randomly see these videos about how like, oh, I saw this, like, I don't know if it was like a meme or something, but it was something about like the divine feminine needs the strong masculine to balance it's the yin and yang of the universe. And like, and I was like, oh my God, like that still exists out there. So as much as like we like love what we have here in this beautiful art, other parts do exist. So it isn't always considered good or safe, and it can be really hard to unlearn all that stuff. And I totally
that
understand.
gotcha, Trev.
Yeah, like you're talking about the people who hurt you being right about you. I hear that, and I feel that in my own stories. In my neurodivergent brain is like, tell your story too. Like it's like it's the same, but like that's beautiful, really powerful to share that, because it is really tough to agree with someone who's caused you pain, and it's not what they were. But you're right, they still hurt you by like they wanted to hurt you by calling those things, and that's the thing that feels bad. It doesn't matter that they were right. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah,
that's the thing,
that's right. It doesn't.
they
it doesn't,
also, and by
like,
they I mean bullies, love to throw whatever they can and find the thing that they think gets a reaction. And I know I'm not saying anything that you don't already know, Roy,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
sometimes I think about the people who get lumped into the category of all people who are bullies and anti-gay bullies are closeted. That's not true. Some of them are
That's
just
not true.
assholes who
Yeah.
find
Yeah,
the
that's
thing that is like, oh, you see,
Well, and you're also at that bullies at that age, and I do this because I did do some bullying when I was a kid. A lot of it is like, if you get picked on, you're like, well, I'm going to pick on the next weakest person because I can't. Like you're trying to like defer as a kid, you're trying to survive, and when you do that, you kind of throw out a wide net. Like like, because there's always that one kid who is going around calling everybody a fairy or a sissy, and then for someone it's going to get a reaction to. And then that person's going to keep pushing that button. That's the other thing too, is that it's like, it's not like bullies are like super good at analyzing the person and being like, what is their weakest thing? Like, I don't think that's always what happens. I think sometimes some bullies are just like, I'm going to call everybody I see this pejorative, and then like see who flinches and be like, oh, you're sensitive about this. You've got a thing about this. And I think that's also part of it. So, we have to remember that, like, bullies are good at like seeing those micro reactions and those things that they're like, a weakness, let me keep going on that. And it's because they're often bullied too. Like bullies happens in cycles, and to get unbullified, you have to bully someone else. It's the only escape out, it feels like, at the time.
Feels like It Follows with bullying, which is a movie. It's a horror movie, and no spoilers, but
yeah,
my biggest big time cringe moments recently, like going, we're always everybody's in a state of going through and how can I be better, and what's just the images, some places that I have bullied other people have popped up at the most random times. And Roy, it was for things that I turned out to be or experience myself that have only been made clear to me in the last few years.
Yeah,
I think 19 is that old to figure out you're gay, Roy. You said it was old. I think that's pretty awesome. I figured out my sexuality so many times, and then like
Yeah.
was, oh, okay, I figured out my sexuality. Oh, gender. Oh no. And then that had to get dealt with. And
Mhm.
then sexuality came back and was like, okay, but now that this is, what is this and what do I want? And so
I know.
Mhm.
none of
And
which
then-
would be
Yeah.
possible without folks like you and
Yeah.
you know what I remember from Pig Pride getting the shirt is I hate, everybody knows, okay, capitalism, LG is going to go off on a thing, but the biggest memory I have of Providence Pride is there was a man from one of the earlier prides in Providence at a table, like between two banks, tabling at Pride, and he had a book of all these old photos, and he was showing it to anybody who would go. And he said we would have to wear hoods. We wanted to march, but we had to march with
Oh my
our
goodness.
faces covered in sacks so that our bosses wouldn't see us, our families wouldn't see
Oh,
us.
yeah.
And then, of course, you're seeing. I went like, I'm not kidding that he might have been between two banks. It's literally like they sandwich the person down by like the vendors instead of just Pride thoughts. We've got some great comments coming in here. People really resonating with this, Roy. 3 of the 5 of my family is queer. From the body of my heart, I appreciate what Roy's generation and before had to endure. We love to hear that. Thank you, Dan.
Yeah.
Hey, Dan Costa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't do, I didn't really start being more of an activist until I was older. So I appreciate the people that did a lot of activism around the time that I was coming out and before, and but I don't do a huge amount of activism, but I just think say what Sarah Bareilles wrote that song, "Say What You Want, Gotta Say," for a singer friend of hers who was having trouble coming out. So that's a good song to look up. But
I think visibility is activism too. I think it's a big part of it. For me, it has been a big part of it. Watching people.
Yeah, it's okay. I was thinking the other thing that I just recently thought of is there are 2 people that in my family who at one point one said that and it's not the crazy sister,
I was
her daughter. No, we're not gonna get into them. But another relative once told me that he thought that I said, oh, I mentioned somebody. I said they're gay and they're also mentally ill, and he says, well, that's the same thing. And so that person is now my biggest advocate, and I won't say who it was. And then another relative said something similar, and now he's a big advocate for, so 20 years makes a big difference, and I've changed in 20 years. So I do give credit for the people that have evolved.
Well, and sometimes you have thoughts in your brain. Yeah, I was just saying, like, I think sometimes you have thoughts in your brain they don't even think to challenge until you've said them out loud, and someone is like, "What?"
Yeah.
Like they just exist in there. This is a smaller example of that, but I remember one time I just was talking about firefighters and how I was like, "Well, yeah, like that's a man's job," and the person's like, "What? Why would you think that?" And I was, and I at the time I was like, I never even thought to challenge it in my brain. I was just like, no, it's only men that are firefighters. I never thought that is like
how many lady or non-binary or other firefighters that you know of who are out
that you see, right?
That you,
you don't like when you like kids' books, kids' shows. It's all like male firefighters when they're on the TV shows and movies. Male firefighters, like firefighter catalogs, like they got the shirts off with the whole like
Paw Patrol, I'm pretty sure is a little boy dog.
Yes, it's always males. And I just never even thought anything on it until the person was like, "Are you serious? Like, why?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know. I've never thought of it." So I think sometimes, like you're talking about the people who like then turned out to be advocates, like sometimes people like genuinely are just like, that's what I thought. Because I think the predominant thought was if you are homosexual, you are mentally ill at that time. It was considered the same thing. And it's
1974, it was removed as a diagnosis, homosexuality. I think 2017 was when a really outdated term for trans people was officially taken off as a diagnosis from like the World Health Organization. 2017 or 2018, something very ridiculous.
Very too recent for it to be. But it is like this stuff all happened recently. Like I think sometimes once it changes, we forget that there A, still people in the world that think that way, B, that it only changed recently. Like, you know, like people are still alive that were firmly believing that and probably teaching that and writing about that in books and giving lectures on that. Like those people are still alive. And that's, yeah.
Sometimes I get trapped by making fun of all of the elements of Pride that have been co-opted, but Pride is also it's a blessing. Did you spot the butthole?
What?
There was a butthole in there.
Oh,
better next time. I'm usually good.
So there was a.
It's made of soap for the censors.
That was a recently I saw Ricky Schroeder. You know, has anybody seen this? He was a kid actor and now he's a real jerk. You know, anti everything. He took the words and he Pride Month, and so the end of Pride is DE, and the first 3 letters of month is so it all became demon. So that's what people, you know.
See, I've seen that floating around the internet, shared by queer people as this is really funny. Let's be demons. So it's so fascinating, Roy, to hear that it was shared initially or is being shared by people unironically. Because I have exclusively only seen it shared as in a humorous way. So this is like blowing my mind. I know what you're talking about because I saw him on the Surreal Life.
He was on NYPD Blue for a little while, but then he's come out with some really like far right crap. Trumper,
Oh, Ricky.
Well, I mean, if that's not a segue into an improv game, I don't know what is. I would. Doing the work. You know, the world is doing the work. Yeah, it's kind of like when Biden tweets, like, something's got to change. It's like, buddy, you're the president.
Some people live openly as their activism. I search for cool stickers.
Speaking of cool stickers, we're going to play our first game. Yeah.
What's our first game, Bowler?
It's our first game. Our first game is called Bragging Rights. In which Roy will be a famous figure and will have done something recently that is worthy of some brag. And he's going to guess what is in conversation. So Roy, if you could click over into another tab on your internet browser, you can do a little like shopping, you can check your email, you can play some Sudoku.
Now, will I'm technically unsavvy, so would I still be able to hear you, or
you'll be able to hear us?
I've only accidentally said the words out loud like once or twice over our many episodes.
Yeah, so you'll be able to hear us. You'll be able to see us if you're in a different tab.
I'm gonna write. Okay. I'm gonna write down a note to self for clips to look up. Bowler, because I just that's pretty funny.
All right, I'm out of here. I can still hear you.
You can't see us, but you can still hear. So, audience, what we need from you all, first, we need a famous figure, historical figure, famous fictional character, famous celebrity, famous author, politician, whoever, sport person, famous-ish figure, If it's a sport person, honestly, I'm not gonna be able to give clues. So don't do those. Don't do those.
Don't do those. Don't do
Don't do
those. I put in Lee Greenwood's "Proud to Be an American" into this thing that creates out of it searches the internet and makes AI things. So it could be Lee Greenwood. So what America?
At least I know I'm free. Something that popped in my head. I'm proud to be.
The only time I've ever cried at that song was at my siblings' United States Marine Corps graduation, where they make you like, it's like everybody's outside and we're yeah. Be very that was accurate as well. I see so many. I'm distracted by so many good.
It's okay to cry at music. Music is emotional. It taps into our emotions. Like, that is very human of you. It doesn't matter if it was something you wanted to be crying about.
Something jingoistic.
Powerful speaking in music, that just hits you in the cries. It doesn't really matter. Hey, I love it.
And
I
it's
love
math too. Like, it's designed, it's programmed to get you.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we know our COVID protocol to write things down. LG.
So, audience, this is going to be the person that Roy is. And now, audience, we need to find out something that Roy has done as this person. And it could be anything that you feel like they should be proud of, anything that you would normally brag at. Like something would be like, being a really good ally in this month.
Whoops. Hang on. Gotta get rid of it.
I
have another, while we're waiting for those things to roll in, what
is the firework the butthole?
What's that?
Is the firework the butthole?
No, that was a different. There was a different firework that had a butthole in it.
I'll tell you something. Like, I hate that the corporation, like the capitalism associated with Pride, and when I see something with a rainbow on it, I'm like, take my gay money. Like, just I can't help it. So they're not wrong.
Internalized,
Well, I'm loving what we're seeing here.
I love it. I love the movie. Yep.
I think it's a good pairing. Okay, so audience, this is what they've done and whom they are? Who they are.
I think whom, right? Because whom could be. I mean, I just mastered pronouns. I do not need another part of speech to.
My son will occasionally have English language arts homework, which like includes grammar stuff, and I will look at it and be like, I can't help you. I was like, if you have questions, you have to ask Bagley. Maybe like you got to look it up on the internet. I can't help. I can't. Like,
Chloe
he'll ask.
Says whom is correct.
Whom is correct. Thank you, Chloe. That's great. I'm gonna have Luke give you a call next time he's having ELA problems. I just like that stuff never stuck with me. I can't.
Me neither. Learning other languages put it in context for me, but now I have forgotten Spanish and Latin, so it's not helpful.
Yeah. And just since Jaybird missed some things, Jaybird, you missed. Basically, we explored different kinds of butthole firework combinations. We've discovered that you can send a firework out of your butthole, through your butthole, and around your butthole. One of those is the recommended way from the FDA. The other two are not as recommended. So we talked a lot about that. We did a little bit of feeling stuff. All three of us have cried at least once on air. And then we also, you missed the first 20 minutes of crafting. So we made some paper plate owl mirages. So, okay, so if you answer the question with him, then the whom is correct. Whom and who really?
If you want to say him, her, it's whom. That's the rule that I've been using.
When the homework comes in, I'm going to give you a call, because this is what happens. Sometimes he'll be like, Mama, do you know? I'm like, I don't even know. I don't know what kind of what's happening. I'm sorry. You have to ask your teacher. I don't know. It's over my head. The math I can still handle. The grammar, no, done. Yeah.
But Justin, let us know, Jay Bird, if you spot that butthole, and
Yeah.
let's flood the emoji with chats.
Yes, please,
did I
please,
say that
chatters,
right?
flood the emojis so we can get rid of. Actually, they've already flooded it. I'm looking at my screen. You actually can't see any of the suggestions because we've been figuring out that who debate.
Excellent, great. I'll get rid of the
Just in case, you know, it's good. So Roy, you can come back out of your site-proof booth. Come back over to our
All right.
screen. We missed you. We had a really fun time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we were going to play this guessing game. So you are a person, you have done something, and we're just here to pump you up because I am so I'm so impressed. I'm very
Thank you.
impressed. I had no idea you even knew how to do this, quite honestly. I just like
You've never.
Well, I'm largely
you've never-
self-taught, you know.
self-taught.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Wow,
I
that's
appreciate-
incredible. That's incredible.
That's
Wow.
safe. Questionable. I mean, good for you. You're obviously.
Well, I had
obviously
some
here.
help, but
Yeah, sure. What is it like to prepare for that? Like, I mean, you must have to do so much physical preparation.
yes, it's arduous. It's really exhausting, but you know, thrilling at the same time.
Oh, I could see the thrilling. I mean, I don't even know how many people have ever even done this. I mean, it's very few though, as my understanding. It's a very rare thing you've done.
Many people have lost their lives attempting this in the name of, science and exploration and I think a few for corporate branding, but you did it.
Well,
I
you
think
know-
you told us. I think you did it to be closer to nature and to right.
Oh, definitely. I absolutely the outdoors and being, you know, with nature and the atmosphere and climbing the heights and
I mean, the climbing the heights.
the
I mean, it's not just the heights; it's the height.
It's
You
the
know what I mean?
height.
It's like climbing the height. The height. I am so impressed. I'm so impressed. So much forearm strength. But is that now the forearm strength? Can I ask you? Did you find that? Did you develop that because of the how much work you have to do on the grill? You know what I mean? Is that because I noticed like when I'm on the grill, it's like I do work that forearm.
well, before I do any grilling, I go to the gym for a couple of hours and then
Wow. That is if that were me, it would be repetitive stress motion city. But you've really had just the longevity of your career and your has just been wow.
Oh
Wow.
yeah. Well, I've just decided to continue and until I can't do that anymore.
That makes sense.
I did want to know though, there was a little bit of controversy in that you had you have said an assistant helping you, but others have said that it was just, I mean, you basically had somebody else do most of the work and you got all the credit.
Hey, yeah, I know that's a controversy, and I speak for that other person, but no, it's me. It's me.
Okay.
It's all me.
All right. I just wanted to
you hire people and they try to take credit for you, but it's all me.
Impressive. I mean, it's amazing.
That's what I thought.
Now, and this, I hope this question doesn't catch you off guard. But I was wondering about, are you still continuing to work to be an adoption advocate? Or is that work sort of ceased, or is that still happening?
Oh, absolutely. Still an advocate for adoption all the way. And
Yeah.
adopt it, adopt.
Love that. Love that. Very important. Wow. I never
So-
thought about that aspect, but I bet it was really frosty all the way up there while you
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
advocating.
Well, going to the North Pole was very difficult, but I was able to manage it.
That was a great training run. The North Pole was a great training run for what you.
Yeah,
what you
I bet it simulated a lot of it, what it's like, especially at the summit. I mean, that's probably. I would bet it'd be similar to North Pole. I mean, the weather is
North
so
Pole, but it's no Everest.
right. Exactly. I mean, Everest. That's amazing.
Yeah, and you
You really.
I can't believe that Dave would even have allowed you to do that, being the face of the franchise. It would have been horrible if something had happened.
Well,
Yeah.
Dave's my father,
Mm-hmm.
and he just every once in a while he'd tug on my little ponytail and say,
Mhm.
Wendy.
Mm-hmm.
Do the best you can.
Wendy, and then he would trail off.
Right.
Seriously,
Right.
as he was.
And I just,
Yeah.
Wendy, I mean, Wendy, I've heard some stories about this. Can I just clarify, like, what did you do to Mount Everest? Because I've heard some stories, and I'm just wondering what it is you did.
Well, I mined it for Frosties.
Wow.
There's a
Wow,
part
that is
up there
brand new information that I'm sure your publicist is going to be so stoked that you shared here.
Yeah, that's exciting. That's really
But
exciting.
we were looking. Wow.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, and did you do that? Like, where were you on Everest? Where would you describe
I was
yourself?
at the summit.
At the you were at the
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. Okay.
I spent the last few minutes trying to think, Wendy, what the game from the Drew Carey Bob Barker show is with the little person that goes wee on the mountain. You did it.
Yes, is that the yodeler?
Yes.
Yodel-yodel-yodel.
What a
Roy,
great,
what a great job.
great job.
What a
Great
great
job.
job. You are a Did you see the butthole bowler?
No, I didn't see the butthole. I don't see the butthole. I'm looking for the butthole. I saw the brick spinning. I saw a lot of fireworks. I saw a lot of smoke bombs, maybe. None of
There's
which
a
did I see.
circle.
There was a circle at the end, a little pulse, a little rainbow pulse. And I just
I'll freeze frame. I'll screenshot it for you later.
Thank you, please. And I want you to tag me in it. I want you to tag my face in the middle of the butthole, please. Because
Okay. I will do that.
Thank
The
you.
butthole is in your mind.
Thank you.
Jordan, thank you for validating me. Jordan saw the butthole.
Even making
There was a butthole cut.
That reminds me of my just previous team, Cletus Doublethink, which was an anagram for unlicked buttholes.
I did not.
I think we were. I think
Roy,
we were
is that
doomed.
True?
That's true.
Is this true?
Yes. We thank Ian Martin for that one. We made a joke that we wanted our team to be unlicked buttholes. He went on the anagram creator, and we came up with Cletus Doublethink. I mean, I think the word is out, but
no, I know. I love that. This is so great. Yeah, Ian, a wild card. Hey,
this is amazing. This is amazing. That
revolution what of a dead team.
What
Roy,
a gift.
That is the greatest gift you could have possibly given me today.
Thank you for giving us that gift, Roy. Yeah. Wow. So that's amazing. Such a great team story name. Yeah, but we are we're just about out of time, audience. And Roy. So
Oh.
let's all go around and say what we got out of this workshop today. No, let's we're going
Well,
we're gonna wrap up our show.
Roy, what do you got coming up? What do you got coming up for shows?
For me,
Yeah.
let's see. I have tomorrow night we're doing Nice Things, which is the new team with Trevor, Miranda, Andy, Mike Harrington, and
Alex, is that guy's name?
not and Andy Connolly, and they're all great. And then, well, personally, I'm starting to do puppet shows again, but they're at daycare centers, so nothing
At some
public
point,
yet.
Roy, I have wanted for the longest time to do something with you with puppets. Maybe we'll try to figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
In the next year or so, which is kind of what I think Bowler and I wanted to tease a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of a tease.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how long we've been doing this show, Bowler?
Almost a year.
Really?
Yeah, a year. July 8th will be our year anniversary of doing the show, so we're creeping up on it. So we're going to do something special for the year, audience, but we need your help. So audience, if you could email us, you can email us at our special email address, or you can email us as individuals, or just text us. Most of you have our number.
I'm looking for the email. I can't find it in the
I'm around at Gmail.
But we always go back and forth.
It's got to be in the banners. Okay, I'm gonna you look. I'm gonna start. All right, so audience, we want you to email what you like about the show, what you've gotten out of the show, anything you remember, fond memories of the show. Email them. We are going to do something special with them. And that's not the email address, LG. It's not the email address. You're not even in the right team. You're not even in the right team.
I think I've met that person. No.
This is terrible. Anyways, yeah. So if you
It's not in there.
Get out of here. So this is we want you to email us if you can, audience. We're going to celebrate our year anniversary. We're going to have a special show. Listen, and are we being vague because it's not all the way planned yet or booked? That's insulting. Are we being vague because teasing you and edging? Have you ever heard of edging? Yeah, that's what we're doing. This is called show production edging. And it's what we have for you. It's what we have for you. So this is just a little bit.
Is that what it's called?
Did that one have
I
a
heard
butthole in
edging,
it?
and I wanted to do the cum. No, that one didn't have butthole. There were a lot of videos today, so only some of them. 2/5 of the videos had buttholes. Maybe
2/5?
Yeah, 2 of them.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch the show. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the show.
And that's why we love having them up on YouTube for perpetuity.
Perpetuity. That's exactly right.
Well, that's fun. You can see her grow throughout them from the very
We went
beginning.
to pull the first episode, Roy, and the Pepper is a real, actual, tiny infant baby in the first.
She wasn't even 1 yet. Now she's almost 2. I mean, she's creeping up near 2. No.
I've found it great fun watching her participate and her getting more verbal these days and everything. That's really fun to see.
All-time naps over there. So audience, we're gonna do something special, but that's all we got for you for today. So join us for our next show. I believe our next show we're going with, instead of Pride, we're gonna do Wrath. So we're gonna do a little gay Wrath show because I think it's justified. And thank you for joining us, audience. Thank you, Roy, so much for joining us on our Pride show. It was such a delight to have you.
Thank you for being a safe place to come and say things.
I am so glad. I'm so glad that we've created that space because it's really important to have these. Do lust? Oh,
as a sin?
Instead of gay wrath, gay lust. Oh yeah, if that's not an anniversary show theme, I don't know what is. You know what I mean?
Chloe, do you want to be a guest?
We'll have to definitely do prime time then if we're going to make it at Lust.
Yeah, that might not be the midday work break show.
Yeah, Jaber, when you watch the first half, let us know what you think. Which kind of fireworks do we need for the year anniversary? You know, because if it is the butthole kind, we're gonna have to make some phone calls. Okay, so thank you all for coming out. We will see you our next show, whenever that is. Who knows? Who knows?
Oh, and in Terabang tomorrow night.
Yes,
too.
I got a show tomorrow too. Yes, at 7. Yes, in
And
Terabang.
doing your PR.
Yes, thank you. Roy's the best
Yeah.
person. Oh, and the class that Roy plugged last week is excellent. We're having a great time.
We're having a lot of fun.
Teaching. It's
Doing
really
the multi-week workshop, brush the dust
yeah,
off.
let's take the dust off. So if you're interested in taking it sometime in the future, let me know because I'll run it again if there's
Well
interest.
worth it.
It was really fun. It's really great class. I think we got dug into a lot of stuff. But
Heck
okay,
yeah.
cool. I'll see.
Who's around right now, baby, right now? Do an improv, baby, right now, now, now. Who's around right now, baby, right now? Do an improv, baby, right now, now, now.